So October is done and dusted and I've been busy sewing. I've made this, and I've made this. So stick around to find out more about what I've been sewing this past month. Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kate and this is Ripper Seams. So as you can see, we are back in my sewing room. I've been out and about the rest of the house the last few months, but being back here can only mean one thing, and that is that phase one of my sewing room upgrade is almost finished. Enough that I can come back in here, film my videos, and have Barbara join us back again at last. Quite a few videos ago, I took you a tour of my current sewing space, the hectic organisation that was going on there, stuff spread out all over the place, piled high cupboards, there was no real proper storage going on, and I have fixed that at last. So hopefully in a few weeks, I will have an update on what I've done with all my storage, how everything's been organised, and also have some space in my office here. So far, so good. This was the most important phase, so I'm very happy to be back here. But also having this sewing space organised also means it's a lot easier for me to actually sew. And that's very important because I've been struggling the last couple of months, but there's been lots going on. I've had a whole entire bathroom makeover, had all this going on. Work's been busy, so yeah, sometimes you just can't sew, but I'm all about fixing that. And now that the bathroom's been completed, I've actually been able to sew some stuff. So from October onwards, I've been very dedicated to getting through my stash. I've got plenty of lovely fabrics which are just sitting there dying to be made. So I thought I would definitely dive into those and sort my plans out accordingly. So this is where we have got the Saturday skirt set. I've got my frog fleece out to make the Julia sweater. And of course, we've got some French terries and stuff which might have fallen into my stash somehow. So let's take a look at what Barbara is wearing, and that is the Saturday skirt set by Friday Pattern Company. So I have been wanting to make this all summer and I've had it all there cut out. It's been sitting in a little bag ready to go. And I started out making the skirt kind of around early August. So I got the skirt done and then I got distracted by the Busy Bee Sewing Challenge, Halloween, all these other things got in the way and I just didn't finish it. So the day after the knitting and stitching show, I was actually lined up to go to the Southern Social on the Sunday. And I was there Saturday night, exhausted by my exertions out at Ali Pali, and realised I had nothing to take to the social. So I went rummaging around my cupboards and I found that I had this top still left to do. So I grabbed that, took that along with my sewing machine to the sewing social, and yes, here we are. We have got a completed Saturday skirt set, and isn't it looking amazing here on Barbara? I can tell you now, it looks amazing on me, and I will show you that very shortly. So as you can see, the Saturday skirt set is a lovely coordinating set. We have got a lovely tie front top here, very plunging neckline, but we do have a nice collar on here as well. And the skirt is A-line, it's got pockets at the side, it's got a flat waistband at the front, but is elasticated around the back. And this turned out brilliantly. So when I wanted to make this, I've been keeping an eye out for some really, really nice, bright, interesting fabric. And I found this calf facet cotton sateen on Rainbow Fabrics, and I went, that's exactly what I want to make the Saturday skirt set out of. Really, really interesting fabric. It's quite dark, but it has these bright pops of this turquoise and pink in there. Really eye-catching and really quite stunning when you put the two together. So for this one, I made a size large, which is what I normally make when I'm doing a Friday Pattern Company pattern, and fits like a glove on me and can't fault it. Now I didn't do any other adjustments on here. I've been tending to take 1 or 2 inches out of the length of things lately. I decided not to do that this time because it is a maxi skirt, and again, I'm short, 5'3", so I thought I'd go full maxi and I'll take it up at the bottom if I need to. Don't need to, it's the perfect length. Now the sleeves are elasticated at the cuff, so having a bit of length there just gives it a little bit of billowiness. Billowiness, is that a word? I don't know. Now, elephant in the room, it does have an extremely deep V-neck. And if you've watched my recent Vogue video, trust me, I'm not going to show you any more of my cleavage than I have already. This is definitely something that you need to be aware of when you're making this top. Now you can reduce this by making this more of a wrap top rather than having the bow at the front, but how I'm overcoming this, because like I said, you guys don't need to see any more of my cleavage. I've been wearing this with a little black bandeau underneath. It kind of matches perfectly with the darker colors are in here and giving a little bit more coverage. Obviously, as it is now, it is very much a summer look, but I think because we've got 2 separates here, we can definitely mix and match this to be able to wear it in the slightly cooler weather. Definitely with some boots, maybe a jumper over the top. So yeah, I'm determined to get myself some wear out of this before we get that next lot of sunny weather. Barbara obviously is wearing it at the moment, but let's put it on me and I'll take it for a spin around the backyard catwalk so you can see exactly how it turned out. So here we are taking my Saturday skirt set out for a spin in the back garden. I love how this turned out. I love this beautiful blue cotton sateen and those pops of colour on there. And yeah, just a really nice detailing on here. The skirt is just great. It's got a really nice A-line quality to it. It's got pockets and yeah, probably more of a 7/8 length than a full maxi there. So there's a bit of versatility there. And always gotta love pockets. So, so happy that I finally got around to making this. It's been over a year that I've had this pattern in my collection. And yeah, absolutely over the moon with this first make. And I'm gonna make it again because I like to try it in a more viscose chalet. I love the details here. I love the tie waist. I love the collar neckline as well. And I love the fact that you can also wrap it over the front as well. I think that's a really nice detail to kind of make this a little bit more versatile going forward. So yeah, fantastic make, really happy with it. So let's give this one some Ripper Seams rating, shall we? And that of course covers brain friendliness, fit, and overall lovableness. So for the Saturday skirt set, I'm going to give it a big 5 out of 5 for brain friendliness. This was such a lovely, easy make, easy to follow instructions, very detailed. And as a big bonus, there is also that really great sew along video on YouTube should you need it. So for fit, again, I'm going to give it a 5. Every single time I make something from Friday Pattern Company, it's come out really well. Every single thing fits like a glove, like I mentioned before. The skirt's really lovely. The pockets don't stick out when you wear it. Everything's kind of nice and flat as you go along. And yeah, me with my bigger hips, totally fine. So that of course leaves us with overall lovableness, and we are given that 5 lovable otters here. As you can tell, I'm raving about this one. Everything about it worked out really, really well, and I just think it looks stunning. I love the fabric choice. I think this is going to look stunning in so many different fabrics as well. But yeah, we'll make it again, and looking forward to doing that in a flowier fabric. Now my next make is gorgeous, and it is this lovely little mini Jarrah sweater, which is a pattern by Megan Nielsen. Now the reason I've made this one is my daughter fell in love with my version of the Jarrah sweater, which I made early this year, which is this white one here. I absolutely love it. She loved it as well, and she wanted one. Now I did happen to clock at the time that Megan Nielsen did have some junior versions of some of her makes. So of course I grabbed that one, and I've done a tester for my daughter just to see how it turns out. Spot on, absolutely love it. This is the version I've made here. I've made a size 11 for my daughter. She is a few months away from being 11, but she is on the small side, and this just is beautiful on her. Definitely oversized at the moment, but this is something that she can grow into, and she absolutely loves this print. Now I've made this one in a French terry, which I got from First for Fabrics, as this beautiful lovely animal print here with this turquoise and this purple band going through. And I happened to pattern match that purple stripe going straight through the arms as well, which I'm pretty happy with, as you can imagine. I've also put some black ribbing around the collar, the sleeve cuffs, as well as the hem, and I just think this is a perfect look for those tweens in your life at the moment. Now this fabric does come in a pink colorway as well, which is very tempting. Now ever since I've made this, my daughter has not taken it off. Every time she gets changed out of a school uniform, this goes straight on. She's wearing it to karate, she's wearing it to Girl Guides. So yeah, definitely a win for this particular pattern. Now the size range available for the mini Jarrah is for 3-year-olds all the way up to 12-year-olds. Now because my daughter's on the smaller side, we definitely have a few more years of getting those mini Jarrahs out for her going forward. Now as I mentioned, my daughter was really keen on getting a similar version to the one that I made, which had the higher stand-up collar. Luckily the mini Jarrah does have the option to do the higher neckline, but it doesn't have the option to do the split cuff. She's not too fussed about the cuff. It was more kind of that really big, nice, lovely, oversized Jarrah sweater. So I do actually have some fabric to make that up, and I've got enough fabric to make one for her, but also one for me. Whilst we can still get away with doing a few matchy things, we're gonna do that. So we're gonna have matching Jarrah sweaters, and we're gonna make it out of this fabric here. Now this is a sweatshirting fabric, but it's just a really nice, fun, thick fabric for making Jarrah sweaters out of, either big ones or little ones. Now I did get this fabric from First Fabrics at the same time as I got that other French terry. Lovely, beautiful, soft fabric, and I think this will sew up really nice. Yeah, so keep an eye out for those in the very near future of getting these sewn up. I think this will be a really nice cozy make over those really cold winter months coming up. Now, like I said, my daughter is absolutely a fan of wearing this, and because of that, let's see what she looks like on the backyard catwalk. So here's my daughter showcasing her lovely mini Jarrah sweater by Megan Nielsen. Really, really love this top. I love it, she loves it, and it's in this great print in a French terry from First Fabrics. We've paired it up with some black ribbing around the collars, cuffs, and waistband, and yeah, it's just great. Really fun fabrics, great ones for little ones. Eliza is doing her best dress to impress impersonation, a bit of flossing. So if you've got little ones in life, I can't recommend this sweater pattern enough. Okay, so Ripper seams ratings for the mini Jarrah sweater. Now this pattern has been around for a while. I've made an adult versions on this, so me making it this time around was quite easy. So for brain friendliness, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 for this one. Only reason why I'm taking that one off is there is only a 5 centimeter seam allowance for this one and not a full centimeter. And I'm pretty certain that's because if you're going down to a size 3, that seam allowance is obviously going to be a lot better for a smaller kid's garment. But I think when you get into the bigger sizes, I think a 1 centimeter seam allowance would be more decent. I did have to be really careful when sewing around to make sure that I had caught everything properly. Of course, when you're doing the top stitching, it's really hard to get hold of that seam allowance and kind of lock that down as well. So I think next time I'm going to make this, I'm going to extend the seam allowance out to be a full centimeter. That just gives me a little bit of wriggle room for this larger size. That's just my preference, but yeah, I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 for brain friendliness, just for that tiny little thing. As for fit, absolutely 5 out of 5. This is obviously an oversized sweater, so fit isn't so important, but the overall look of it, how it fits on the arms, the length of it and everything. Again, my daughter's on the short side. We like the oversized look. It looks great with leggings and all that. So yeah, we're going to give it a 5 out of 5 because you can't really go wrong, and she's going to grow into it, and yep, perfectly fine with that. Now for overall lovableness, I'm going to give this a 5 out of 5, but let's hear it from my daughter, given she's the one who's decided whether she likes this or not. Tell me about the fit of this. How many fit points are you going to give it out of 5?
I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 because it is a little bit like droopy around here, but that can be fixed probably.
Yeah, okay. And like, what about
this tail?
But is it not meant to be oversized? This is meant to be droopy. That's the style.
I didn't know that.
Didn't know that? Okay, fair enough. Rightio, tell me about lovable otters then. How many lovable otters are you going to give it?
5.
5.
I love the colours and the pattern. Could use a bit more purple, but yes, it's really comfy.
Yeah.
And it's just really nice and warm.
Cool. Do you want Mummy to make another one?
Yes.
That of course leaves us with what I'm wearing today, and that is the Julia sweater by Atelier Jupe. Jupe? Is it Jupe? Atelier Jupe? Alright, so I actually looked this one up because it was bothering me. It's actually pronounced Atelier Jupe. Jupe as in dress. So yeah, got it wrong on both accounts here, but now I've got it right, so carry on. So this is my most recent make. I only just finished it off a couple of days ago and I'm pretty happy with it. For those of you who have been watching my channel for a while, you might recognize this fabric. It is the lovely polar fleece I picked up on my trip to Seattle at the start of the year, and it is these toads on this peachy background with these lovely cacti spotted around. So I finally got in and cut out this fabric, but I didn't end up making what I was going to make originally. This was originally going to be a pogo knit top, but the Julia sweater has only just been released in the last few weeks, and I thought, you know what? I actually quite like the styling of this one a little bit more than the pogo knit. So I thought, why not try something a bit different? Because I really like the style lines on the top section of this one a little bit better, and I love where the pockets are placed, and there are no welt pockets on this one. So I thought, yes, this is what my toady fleece should probably turn into, and I'm so glad I made it. So very similar to a pogo knit. Obviously we have this snap button placket here. I've made mine in a contrast kind of olive green. I've done that to kind of pick up the color of the frogs and the cacti in there. I just felt the green would just tie it together, and I think I was right there as well. This of course has got 4 snaps up the top, and I think they're like really nicely placed. And we have an elasticated waistband around the edge here, which is nice and thick. So yeah, really nice and cozy. And the best bit is the pockets, which are here. So yeah, these pockets are really great, nice and deep, and they come in off the sides here. Now, I don't know what these pockets are called because they're kind of integrated. Are they grown on? I don't know. These pockets are actually part of the pattern piece. You don't add them. You just fold the fabric and it's really quite ingenious. I love it. So yeah, pockets go in here. They're fleecy. They're completely lined because it is just the fleece. And yeah, I think I prefer this over the pogo nip. Now, this is my original pogo nip. It is also quite loud and fun. Now, this pogo nip is actually made out of a baby cord, and I've got this contrast chambray on the inside collar as well as the cuff. My family definitely don't lose me in a crowd with this one. This one here obviously has the welt pockets, and I've got the contrasting fabric in here. Now, I'm not saying at all that the pogo nip is at all inferior. This is obviously designed by Friday Pattern Company, so everything about it is going to be top of the line in regards to instructions and look and everything. So I just wanted to try something different. So yeah, this one here has got these seams that run down here and then kind of just comes across the front here and then into these pockets. It's this styling here which I think just elevates it a little bit more over the pogo nip, and yeah, just wanted to try it and I'm glad I did. This sweater has been out for a few weeks now by Atelier Jupe. Atelier Jupe also do fabrics, and as part of the release with this pattern they also brought out some absolutely beautiful fleeces that suit this particular pattern really nicely. I was so tempted to get those, but I had my toad fabric in my stash, so I had to come and bring it out here, and I'm glad this has definitely got some life because I am so going to be wearing this over the next few months. Really, really cozy and warm. This is very much something to chuck on whilst I'm working at home. It's something to wear when I go walk the dogs. It's something to wear when I'm doing a bit of gardening outside, a bit of tidying up over that colder weather. So yeah, I'm very happy with my nice cozy make. But it's definitely not without its flaws, so if you're thinking of making this one, definitely keep listening, because as much as it's turned out beautifully, it wasn't as much fun to make. And the reason for that is just all down to the instructions. And obviously Atelier Jupe is a French company. The instructions are available in multiple languages. I'm obviously following the English ones. Now, I found the instructions to be generally quite good. There was lots of them, but still quite vague in places. Now, this pattern is rated as a 2 out of 4 rating when you look at the bars on the front, which I would consider would be an advanced beginner, if not an intermediate. So I thought, yep, that'd be me totally covered. But man, I had to really go through those instructions multiple times to figure out what was going on. There are bits in there which I just couldn't wrap my head around. Now, they do direct you to an online vlog where they have actual photos of the make as it's going around, but I didn't feel as if that actually helped the situation any. Now, the bit I'm referring to the most here is actually attaching this button placket. It seemed very confusing, and it just got to the point because I had made the pogo nip, I kind of winged it. Kind of made sense what I had to do, so I just followed my nose. And you know what? I ended up doing a whole heap of hand stitching. So I hand stitched the inside of the button placket as well as the collar, just because I didn't have a lot of trust in the instructions that this was going to have a nice finish if I didn't do the hand sewing. You might have better luck than I did, but I just wanted to give you a heads up. This bit here was confusing. I had no trouble at all following the pogo nip one by Friday Pattern Company, and I think it's because I had done that one first that I was able to figure out what I needed to do here. So if you've not made pogo nip, if you've not done this type of collar before, just go slowly, try and figure it out. If I make this one again, I might kind of do some sort of mashup of the pogo nip and this one together, but we did get there in the end, and I've got a finished make which I absolutely love. Yeah, it's not the worst, but yeah, did had to follow my nose a little bit. So the size range for this pattern is actually from a size 6 all the way up to a size 24. UK sizing, of course. The fabrics I actually recommend for this one is obviously your polar fleeces, but also teddy fleeces, wool, quilted fabrics. So there's quite a nice big range, all those thicker fabrics. The other thing you can do is have a contrasting bit of fabric here for the button placket. I've gone ahead and done that, obviously. I've actually just used a really nice thick quilting cotton. Now I've gone and put 4 snaps on here directly as they were marked in the pattern, and I think they're really nicely placed, nice and evenly along this placket. And I thought, because I had a bit of trouble putting the pogo nip ones on in the past, I kind of stuffed it up a couple of times, they're a bit looser. I thought I might invest in one of these. This is the Vario Creative tool, which has been designed to kind of give you that bit of welly to be able to get those snaps on nice and firmly. Now, I've been keeping an eye on the price of these for quite a while, pretty much all year. I did want them for when I made my pogo nip. I just thought it was too expensive. It was like around £90. I thought that's just too much money for a tool like this. So I just waited, and I had a look around the other day, and surprise, these are actually, I won't say half price, but they were definitely a bit more reasonably priced at £55 I found this one for, and they've also brought out additional colours. I actually wanted the red one, but this one was actually cheaper in the green, so I got this one here. I think, yeah, like I said, I think I picked it up for £55. So obviously it's a tool for you to be able to punch your holes for your snaps, rivets and eyelets and so on, but also then have the welly to get in there and actually push those snaps, rivets and eyelets into place. So I got this thinking that will do the job and I will get that done, but they don't actually have the fittings, the extra tool bits that you need for attaching snaps, eyelets and rivets. You have to buy that separately, which I think sucks. So much money for this tool and they don't give you the things to be able to do the things that it's meant to do. Yeah, and when I went to go find the one that is for attaching metal snaps, they're pretty much sold out everywhere. So I've got a back order in with Minerva to get the snaps. Didn't want to wait to finish off this top, so I just got the hammer out and just hammered them all in. Got my frustration over the fact that that Vario didn't come with the accessories with it. I foresee lots of snaps in my future, so I will keep the Vario tool. I will unwillingly get the additional parts to go with it, and it will all be good. Now this is my Julia sweater. I'm pretty happy with it. Let's go take it for a spin on the backyard catwalk. So here's my Julia sweater. It is going to be perfect for these cooler days as we head into the end of autumn and into winter. It's going to be great for walking the dogs and doing a bit of gardening. Love the snaps on that placket there, and it's got a really nice thick collar stand, really super cozy. And these pockets are awesome, really nicely placed, and they're going to keep your hands nice and snug in there. Overall size for this is great. I did do a size 12, fits nicely, and the fabric, I just love my fabric choice. Glad to see these frogs getting some action on the catwalk. So that was my Julia sweater on the backyard catwalk. So let's give it some Ripper Seams ratings, starting with brain friendliness. As I mentioned, this was a real brain scratcher and I wasn't expecting that. And to be honest, this is the first time I've used an Atelier Jupe pattern, so I'm not used to how they do their pattern instructions. I think the more patterns I make with them, I'll get used to that one. But yeah, if you're coming in here cold, just like me, going in there and making this one, just go slowly, take your time and figure it out. So there you go, brain friendliness, I'm going to give it 3 out of 5. So let's talk about fit, shall we? Fit score, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5 because for me, it fits perfectly. However, I think if you're taller, you might have some problems. Now, this sweater is designed to fit on your hips, so you really do need to keep in mind your bust and your hip measurements here. Now, for me, I've ended up making a size 12 overall, but my bust measurement is the size 12. If I was going by my hip measurement, I should be making a size 18. Now, it does say in the instructions that this is an oversized top and you should definitely pay attention to the hip measurement. Now, I had a good think about this because my more recent makes have ended up being too big for me. So I threw caution to the wind a little bit here and I stayed for the size 12 because I checked those finished garment sizes, and because it's got that elastic in there, I thought, you know what, I'm just going to give it a shot here and see if I got it right. And I did. So I've made a size 12 all the way through from the top. I didn't grade it out to the hips and it fits perfectly. Now, I would normally take an inch or so out of my make just purely because I am on the shorter side, and I'm finding that when I do, my makes do fit a lot better. Now, again, because this is oversized, I felt I didn't have to. Now, I did almost take an inch or so out of the arm here, and I'm so glad I didn't because these fit perfectly right on my wrist. If I had taken that out, that would have been sitting kind of around here, and that would have been annoying. Like I said, I'm 5'3". I'm not the biggest person, and I went off pattern size here, and that's where it's sitting. So if you are taller than me, if you've got long arms, you might definitely want to lengthen here because my little short arm here, yeah, that's where it hits perfectly there. If you've got longer arms, definitely lengthen it. It does fall off the shoulder a little bit here, so keep that in mind. Don't measure it up here, measure it down here. Anybody else taller than me, definitely maybe make a 12. Check it out, just check those fit sizes for sure. So for me, I'm going to give it 5 out of 5 for the fit because this fits me perfectly. Anybody else though might have a different story. So yeah, this is my personal experience. Give it a go. That leaves us with overall lovableness. Now, as much as it was a challenge to get around the instructions, it still came together really, really nicely. I just love the fit. I love the fabric choice that I've got on here. I love the pockets. I love that it sits nicely around my waist. I like that these don't bag out too much. And It's just really cute. I love it. And it's so cozy and warm. I almost fell asleep in it last night and I was like, so nice. So I'm going to give it 5 otters, 5 lovable otters here, because I'm definitely going to be wearing this. I'm definitely going to wear it a lot more than this pogo nip. This is a lot lighter. And you know what? I don't think I'll make a pogo nip this winter like I was planning to, because I've got this one now. And yeah, very happy with it. Am I going to make it again? I don't know. Like I said, I kind of feel a little bit burnt by the instructions here. I might see if I can do a mashup with the pogo nip and this one. Maybe not in a hurry. Maybe next year. Maybe what I can do is, if I'm lucky enough to go back to Seattle, I will go back to Joann's and find another fun fabric and we can make a 2025 version for next year. So yeah, watch this space. So there we go. Those are my makes for the month of October. What do you think? Which one was your favorite? Let me know down in the comments below. Also, for those of you who have made the Julia sweater, how did you get on with it? Let me know if you also struggled with the instructions a little bit, especially around this collar piece. Am I the only one that struggled here? Do obviously let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear about your experience here, so hopefully I can apply any learnings into the next one I make. So if you've enjoyed this video, then please do give me a thumbs up down below. It just lets me know I've done a good job and I should keep making more videos just like this one. And whilst you're down there, and if you haven't done so already, please go and click on that subscribe button, as well as the notification bell. That way you won't miss out on any future Ripper Seams videos. I will also be dropping some pictures of my makes that I've mentioned in this video over on Instagram. So if you're not following me on Instagram, you can find me over there as Ripper Seams, just as you do here on YouTube. Same photo and everything. This fancy little QR code that will take you directly there as well. I'm coming close to 1,000 followers on Instagram, so I would love it if you came and joined me over there, but also get to see additional photos of my bakes. So I'll end it there this week. Thank you so much for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure having you here. I wish you a wonderful week of sewing, and I'll see you in the next video.